might work out.
Or he might just tornado you and walk away.
I mean, Venge is a very fickle beast. This is a hero that it goes really well or it backfires really hard. So I'm kind of interested to see it. And Jakiro's going to kill Jakiro here.
He is indeed. The fake Jakiro is slain, and Misha falls. And a first blood goes over to the core of ILTW. All smiles on that lovely face. Look at these handsome boys. I don't know if you know this, SVG, but I am a big advocate for core Venge.
Are you?
Yes.
I might have to rethink some choices I've made.
I thought that the Shard Venge was an upgrade. That was my takeaway. But I'm an advocate for its a la Faith Beyond.
The battle
Offlane.
begins.
As a carry, I'm not sure if I feel like you actually want that other shard.
Yeah,
that
steal damage, steal armor.
Yeah, actually, you know,
that's pretty high.
Gives you more right-click damage. But
we're seeing more Jakiro on Jakiro in the jungle.
Oh no,
can't even get to lane.
He's going to be chased down by the battery assault. Eventually, it's going to wear out, so they'll both be okay here. But just purely the fact that he's got 2 tangos left and 300 HP to heal through, and he may even be late to lane if he's not going to TP out. This is a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, this is a rough start. Generally, Sand King is not the strongest laner, and especially in a double melee lane. But they kind of won the first wave off the bat just because of this early trialing aggressiveness in the jungle, so nice moves by Enigma to give him a bit of a lead. Cost is giving me Jakiro memes before he leaves, but I am rejecting them wholeheartedly.
You're a man of good conscience and good taste. You're not going to be throwing away Jakiro puns.
This is a serious game for serious times.
Yeah, maybe somebody should have told OG that, because I'm not sure if this carry Venge is going to work out. Because, I mean, this hero has to have a good laning phase, right? So it's already a little bit concerning.
To a degree.
Okay.
I don't think all the weight is on his shoulders in effect. Like, if you look at OG's lineup, their carry's Templar Assassin.
Sure.
She's the number 1, she's the number 2, probably the number 2.5. Then there's everybody else. This hero is probably the fastest farmer in the meta from what I can see. This hero just does everything, clears waves, clears ancients, takes Roche, 2 shots for support on the back line. Really hard to stop in mid with all the runes and the refills and all the shenanigans. So this game isn't on Venge to carry, it's on TA to carry, and Venge, Ogre are double buffers to help that happen. Mars is also a high physical offlaner, and the way Amar likes to build this hero, he's a carry player anyway, right? So
True. Yeah.
In some ways, Yuragi might be even just playing like more of a support role this game, especially how his game started. He's not accelerating at a crazy rate here, so.
So if this game is all about the Templar Assassin, question is whether or not Nigma have addressed the early TA pickup, as we're going to see a Burrow Strike immediately onto Yuragi. The battery assault inside of the creep wave is going to be pretty ineffective. Mind Control going for the Caustic Finale. Pops, and he does actually get it. First on the creep, then on the Venge. That does some hefty damage to Misha as a result, who's now being body blocked to oblivion here by GH. They get the level 2, the cogs inside, and Mind Control will find, well, not him, GH will find the double kill.
This is super big for Enigma because Clock is a very snowball-based support. Yeah. He needs the early kills. Yuragi's going to get the last.
Okay. Apparently my control is just like, I'm not going back for nothing.
I mean, he wants the trip to base, so
yeah.
Honestly, it's probably the cheaper route, but the double kill feed, that's a bit rough.
What is with these two teams, man?
I don't know if that was the play. I think one going to base is maybe okay, but suddenly Venge is top of the net worth on 9 CS. That's a little much for me.
Oh, Kuro's gonna die as he has continued to try and be aggressive on Taiga, but Taiga knows Enchantress very well. Meanwhile, mid lane though, GH dying has actually presented an opportunity for him to rotate into mid. He's gonna drop an early sentry just to prevent an idea of a meld, and the Rocket Flare is enough to be able to secure the kill. Oh no, he had 6 charges on his magic stick. He could have lived, but he didn't expect the point-blank Rocket Flare.
I mean, the old 1-1-1 clock build.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day. Caught him off guard.
Yeah, that's actually fair enough.
And they're finding more action.
Misha's going to be gone on here, but at the same time, Yuragi's not too far away, so big tanky Ogre should be able to survive through this. Courier may not, though. So do they have the answers to Templar Assassin?
they have some tools, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of where this Jakiro pick is supposed to come in terms of the real Jakiro. This support is not a very common support, and he doesn't excel at a lot of things on paper, but in certain matchups like this versus TA or these physical lineups where he can play on the back and there's not a lot of gap close, he can do really well. Invoker also has some tools versus hero in terms of the disarms, the mana burns, this type of shenanigans, but TA with BKB is kind of untouchable unless Medusa is pretty far ahead and can just man up, so...
Okay.
I kind of like OG's game plan going into this mid game, and especially the way the lane started. They have the 3 highest CS, the 3 highest net worths. Seems like T is going to be able to hit that timing, and you got the Venge Bust, you got the Bloodlust, you got Mars to go in for you. Ench is going to be able to gank. Taiga's had a pretty decent early game in terms of slowing down Kuro. Kuro's not going to really be a hero of this game in terms of any sort of items. This might be a 10-minute level 4 Jakiro with no boots. He's having a rough one. That's just nature of 4 Enchantress. This is one of probably the strongest laning 4 in the game. Taiga's also very well experienced on his hero, so he knows how to get stuff done.
God, I hate playing Jakiro when I'm underleveled.
Yeah, it's
it
a rough
feels
time.
so useless as a hero.
And he also went this liquid fire point, which is fine. It's about the laning for this hero being really strong. This is how you win the lane, but it's an almost unwinnable lane versus Enchantress, so you almost wonder just to take the ice path points and have it pay off later.
Yeah. That way you could have it maxed out at 7. Miracle is going to be turned around on here as BZM and Misha both show up to the party.
And he does?
No dust.
Dire's courier has been killed.
GH, his gank was also ruined in a way. Hey, Taiga shows
Skeletons
up.
taking the tower.
Skeleton push, and the mid tower's already taken so much damage. The side blades off of the cogs. GH needs to be able to get out of there. Taiga, once again, he is so confident in this heal to be able to keep him alive, and Tornado comes through, catches BZM. The cogs push back is going to be able to help, but it does actually, with the side blades, line up and get GH killed instead of Miracle. Maybe Miracle is still in trouble. Sideblade doesn't land. Another TA trap. Chases after him, but the Fairy Fire now the turnaround with the damage over time with the Cold Snap. That's going to be a nice combo. Does a good amount of damage to BZM. Enchantress still threatening to the dive here. GH is going to re-TP back in to chase away some of these heroes and perhaps cancel some of that healing salve on BZM.
This is a crazy series, honestly. Like, what is happening?
All right.
Everybody just wants to go mid, it feels like.
Ooh, mind control.
This also takes me back a couple years where Enigma used to just trialing mid and
yeah, they would just collapse on mid immediately, right?
But this is like OG forcing them to do it, or you're going to lose your tower to a bunch of skeletons at 6 minutes that just destroy the hell out of it in like 30 seconds. So we're seeing some of the power of these neutral creep changes coming to fruition here. It's Enchantress doing some work. Doesn't have that imp point, but she lived there.
Why do skeletons have an ability like that? I swear to God, Rally's such a crazy spell.
And they're going in round 2.
Misha, they do have the TA trap to be able to slow down these heroes. Misha, though, is gonna die. The Tornado now trying to help Miracle get out. He actually turns around, throws the damage onto Taiga. Maybe accepting his fate. In return, he gets a double kill. And GH plus Kuro can do some damage to BZM, but now Yuragi has showed up. He's gonna show up at the tail end of this fight to ensure that this mid lane push goes the way of OG, and they will take this tower by 8 minutes.
Dire's middle tower.
Is this like a custom mode where it's like one lane Dota and just everybody go mid?
Only mid.
These are really early timings we saw in both games in terms of the carry showing up to mid. And I mean, it's working out for OG, I feel like, in both in terms of just how the game played out. Obviously, they get this tower at 8 minutes, super big. Invoker is not a hero who wants his tower to die. He is a hero who thrives at fighting around this tier 1 because he's supposed to be really hard to engage upon, really hard to dive. It's hard for most supports to gap close him, but Ench just swings around, takes his tower and 2 creeps. He's kind of exposed here. Feels a bit weird, and we're talking about this carry Venge having a slow start, but she caught up really nicely. And she's like almost 2 levels ahead of this Medusa. See Enigma trying.
Oh, that is a big pick. You should be able to get it too. Stuck inside the cogs, especially with the attack speed slow, the liquid fire, and all the damage over time in the world to burn through refraction.
Radiant's bottom.
I was thinking this Jakiro was going to be kind of low level, but he's almost 6. We see Yuragi just solo kill mind control.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
If you haven't seen it, there's a whole bunch of new voice lines for the new season of the DPC, so be sure to scroll through all of that. Got some suggestions. If anybody's interested, you could always at me. I'll give you a few suggestions on who to buy. Taiga is going to die here as he gets perhaps a little bit too aggressive, but he might just be able to kill Kuro. Kuro has to pop a Fairy Fire to stay alive, and alive he will be, but limping on low health back to the fountain, I guess.
He's level 6, though.
Does have a way to defend towers now. Yeah.
I mean, he's level 6 and got brown boots, so he pulled something out of his hat here in terms of the early game, because it was looking really rough for him.
And now at this point, like, what do you want to do with level 6 in this game? Because you've already lost your mid tower. Do you want him to like try and hold this safe lane tower and ILTW just go back and farm jungle?
Yeah, I think Nigma, they're kind of gravitating up here. We see that was a 4-man gank for Enchantress, and Miracle and GH are kind of playing together in this jungle area. Again, their mid tower's dead. Kind of awkward for him to just sit mid, but if they can get fights around this top tier tower, I think it's pretty good for their heroes. But it's not the easiest to just fight on this Mars when he has 1600 HP, and their early game damage can be a little limited in terms of like, you need to keep him in a macro pyre.
Yeah.
It's based if you get some hook cog, and you know, Mars might just kill you when you go on him.
Yeah, that's true.
But I still think it's good if they can defend this, but it looks like it's just going to be too difficult. The Ench is just too much of a force in this early game. They don't have that good of interaction with it.
Oh, unfortunately. Normally the Cogs is an okay protection against the wall, but they were a little bit too close there, and he took the full wall damage off the spear. OG bringing Yuragi up here as well to ensure, once again, being active with this safe lane hero, not being the same kind of AFK Terrorblade that he was in game 1. He's showing that in order to play this hero as a safe laner, you're going to have a very different style.
Yeah, and he has to be doing this because, again, his TA is the carry. So he's got to be the one connecting to make sure these objectives happen. Doing a great job of it.
Keeping these in just in time. By control, going to be able to catch up to Taiga and run him down with the epicenter and the last final swing.
Jakiro versus Jakiro in the Roche pit.
Oh, and it's Kuro who walks away with the victory thanks to a little help from Miracle. So Nigma beginning to strike back a little bit, but BCM meanwhile was actually in their triangle taking some of their stacks. Oh dear.
Yeah, and he went this blink first. It's a more aggressive style in terms of being able to jump on supports on traps, join the fights earlier, just accelerate through the hero killing, which if they're having a good early game like this and all of his cores are online, makes sense to me. Yes. Also another gap close mechanism for Invoker, which is always nice because this hero is just about getting on top of him and dealing the damage fast before all his spells add up.
Right. We see Amar similarly. Double bracers, Soul Ring into a fast blink, and he's going to go BKB after that. So no like armlet, nothing. Amar's not being, you know, sometimes we see him build an armlet, build a little bit greedier carry style offlane. This game, big priority on that blink dagger like you were just talking about. Taiga's going to be found next to the Roshan pit.
Smoked Mars coming in.
Oh yeah, BCM has already pounced on top of Miracle. Oh, they need a little bit more damage to kill Miracle. 1 or 2 shots from the TA should be enough, but he gets up to the high ground, but he's burning out from the Ignite, and he's also been spotted. He turns around, throws one last cold snap before he dies. BZM collecting kill after kill, scalp after scalp alongside Amar, and they get 4 kills, 2 doubles, and potentially a Roshan. Just the cherry on top of that beautiful team fight.
Hang on. That is a really bad fight to lose for Nigma, because not only are you straight into the Roche pit, but it's an OG bringing the 5v4. Dusa does not want to join these fights. It's just a very difficult fight to take, and this is part of Enchantress. She can just bait stuff out. Amar got stunned on the Blinken, which was pretty unfortunate. Probably would have gotten a 3-man arena, but they end up cleaning it up anyway. And this is just the power of these early carries that can join the fights. It's part of the strength of TA. You get this carry out of mid. She can super easily join these fights off traps, off strong early refraction, the blink in. I mean, what can Deuce offer in an exchange like that? Pretty much nothing at this point. So.
Yeah. And nothing for quite some time. I mean, it's only 14 minutes in, and we're already talking about this OG crew just kind of rolling over Enigma. They now back into present time. They have an Aegis on this Templar Assassin off of the fresh Roshan kill they got.
Enigma's lineup is not a lineup you want to fall behind in at this point of the game, because Sand King kind of hits this dip where if you want to go ultra late with him, he can scale back into it, but this is where he wants to be winning the fights in terms of his blink getting to the next item. Feels like Mind Control is not going to have the consistent impact here that Amar is going to have in terms of Amar is heating up and starting to scale. It's going to be way harder for the Sand King to be able to come back from that position, especially when he's got Jakiro clock supports. These are like, they're strong supports in the right situation, but they're also, again, not functioning that well from behind. You hook in, like we saw there, you hook in, you throw all your spells, you'll kill an Enchantress, and then what happens?
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Like, the arena comes in, the TA blinks in, you're going to get shredded too fast for your second round to come out. So Enigma has to choose fights really carefully. They have to play around Invoker, use his damage.
They're not the ones choosing the fights at all, as it's going to be Amar who finds the opportunity first. Picking up Mind Control with the Spear. Miracle, nice deafening blast with the Macro Pyre, actually did a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep them locked in there. And OG able to get away with Amar on a sliver of HP. Taiga's still hunting, apparently, for some sort of interference.
They're looking. If that Sunstrike would have hit the Mars, it might have killed him. He was super low. It would have been a huge kill, but Enigma's just getting forced back here. They're just huddled at this tier 2. They want to make something happen.
Blink burrow into the epicenter with the cold snap. That's going to be a really nice combination. Yuragi could go for the swap here. He's looking for it, but the cold snap's not letting him get it off. He finally, the tornado, is that going to be enough? He does dive. The swap back in, gets Mind Controlled killed. At the same time, they manage to catch Misha with the 2 supports.
Centaur Stomp?
GH. Centaur Stomp gets in front of him. He's trying to go for the body blocks as well. The disarm lasting so long on BZM. Got to be careful of the side blades off of the cogs. GH looks like he's going to be okay for now until Amar shows up on the other side. Catches him with the spear and finishes him off with a big rebuke.
I mean, nice kill on this Venge. It's a huge kill for Enigma. Definitely worth it in the exchange. It's an uphill battle here for sure. They're keeping the net worth even. They're trying to hold this tier 2. Amar does not want to let them hold this tier 2. He's making the correct play. Kick them out of here while you are way stronger.
Starting his strength, they actually ran through a TA trap there. Miracle, they know he was here. TA immediately jumps on him. They managed to hit him with a monster Macro Pyre, but he still has the Aegis, and they've got to play this very slow on the side of Enigma. They're going to be able to catch Amar inside of his own arena, but at the same time, Amar, he'll happily trade this out if BZM can actually clean up some of the kills, and with the side blades hit, it's looking okay. He gets GH finally. Yuragi swaps him back out of danger as the IL2W showed up for the last bit of that engagement, but he doesn't actually add that much damage. Aegis, it's going to tick out. That's going to be life number 1. ILTW is almost out of mana here. He's in some serious trouble. He has just enough to be able to get off the Stone Gaze, and that may keep some of these heroes at bay. Misha actually dies to the split shot, but ILTW, he needs to full out retreat. The rest of OG is strong enough to back into this tier 2 tower and finish it off. Nice Force Staff forward, getting him out of that Sunstrike and almost in range of the swap.
Very difficult fight for Enigma to take, but they actually did pretty well, in my opinion, given their position. They wove that pretty well. LTW showing up there at the end, kind of being able to get his other heroes out of dodge, and they're smoking right back out. This TA doesn't have Aegis anymore.
Really big kill, thinking, oh, what was that Force Staff? He tried to go for a Cogs pushback, but it looks like maybe an offensive Force Staff. BZM, as a result, is still free to be able to go in. He finishes off Mind Control. He is going to be caught in this tornado with the cold snap in the air, and he's just going to get burnt down too quickly. But Yuragi is still going strong here. Nails Miracle with Amar showing up as well and completely negating the damage of ILTW. ILTW is left alone, the man on the island standing, and he may have a lot of tank, but he doesn't have any damage, and eventually he's going to get burned down by the 4-man of OG. The dice pass going up, maybe, okay. Rampage for Yuragi, but ILTW gets the triple kill in return. Kuro on the retreat, but Yuragi as a spirit form is going to be able to catch him with missiles, and he's still got to swap too. Or no, not a swap, but it doesn't matter. A double rampage for Yuragi in this crazy back and forth game. We have had 45 kills in 19 minutes, SVG.
This game's got to be some kind of record somewhere, right? There's probably some weird stat of timings or kills or areas, towers taken, whatever. I don't think I've ever seen a double rampage while you're dead. That's also...
That's a bench specialty.
That's got to be the stat, right?
Yeah.
He did it from the grave. I feel like there were 4 or 5 kills from the grave there, but Yuragi's not done. He's still going in.
It's the value of the Ag's Venge. You never stop playing Dota. You could just constantly, even when you die, you still get to play as a spirit. The spirit is potentially in danger. You could always buy back. Then you've got your hero in the fight again. It dies. The spirit's up again. You know, it's a never-endless cycle.
Sometimes it betrays you, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. When you try and be greedy and like farm really aggressively, and the enemy team catches your spirit and just leaves it alive.
Yeah, it's where you spam ping it. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. He's coming back. Enigma still trying to defend these towers. They really don't want to give any room. There's not much they can give.
Mind Control looking for his opportunity. He would love to be able to blink strike BZM with an epicenter. But BZM careful not to linger too long around that tier 2.
Miracle went back for the Midas.
Really?
I must say, if there were a game that didn't feel like a Midas game, it would have to be this one. But
yeah, seriously.
I mean, to some degree, there's not really another, like, it is a very good item on this hero. It helps you scale into that late game, which is where Enigma's gonna have to win this game.
Yeah.
So to some degree, it makes sense. It just feels awkward, but they find Yuragi here.
I don't know if they want to go on a Venge, and Venge certainly wants to go on them. Meaningfully managed to get the spear. Mind Control going to be chain stunned into this arena. He's just standing there trying to wait out the arena before he throw strikes away. And he does manage to do so. Nice stun with the meteor, but on the second life, immediately Yuragi throws out his stun, catches GH, and they run him over. Looking for more now. Misha hunting any heroes they can find. The rest of Enigma have already retreated. The sad part is they're going to have to give up some serious real estate at BZM, just bulldozing through that tier 1 tower and potentially setting up for more, as mid lane is perhaps another opportunity for them.
Just keep playing around your TA, keep the aggression up, play around your traps, don't give Enigma any breathing room. This is how you play this map until the next Aegis comes out. That's pretty much OG's game plan. They want to go high ground with that next Aegis. Just swap someone in and take the fight. Might even just swap. Yeah, there's a swap on Medusa.
Now it does set up a big epicenter. Taiga almost caught with a stun strike, but he managed to stay alive. BZM similarly at half health, but 4 staffs away. Taiga does end up getting caught by GH. Yuragi a little bit low on the spirit, but he's going to be back into real form, and that's why Amar is going to go in, especially with this BKB. He takes out the Jakiro. It looks like GH has wandered a little bit too far forward as well. Nigma, they thought it was their turn to get aggressive, but OG, they were just biding their time before they struck again.
Cannot dive this team too far. You have to remember this Venge. 2 lives every fight. Mars, he might not die again this game. He's got his bracers that are going to click in 3 minutes as well, and he's already up to 2300 HP. He's basically invincible in the BKB unless they all go down. Very tough to overextend. MC going for a very interesting item in this game in terms of Crimson Guard. This is not an item we've seen in a lot of patches. Generally not a second item you get on Sand King a lot. I can understand the idea in terms of OG's entirely physical. There's a lot of little clicks that come in terms from Mars and Venge. At the same time, TA does not care a lot about Crimson. And TA is their game plan. So it'll be interesting to see if you can get this for the next fight and how much it does. It might be able to give them enough effective HP to be able to basically hold high ground until Medusa can turn the game with this Scotty, but OG isn't even waiting for that next Roche. They're just looking to end the game now.
Yeah, seriously, Roshan is up, and they should know, as I imagine, they've got a TA trap in the pit, so they're all gonna rotate back, and with the minus armor physical damage combination that they have, Roshan gets shredded so quickly. Nigma, if they want to contest this, they have to be like smoked out and running right now.
Yep. They do have the rocket flare, the benefit of this hero, but it is gonna die super fast if OG decides to commit. Looks like they rather take the fight first though, which I don't blame them. They probably feel a lot stronger, and there's not much, again, not much that interacts with this Mars or TA BKB. Venge has 2 lives. Who do you go on if you're Enigma? It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
You need like the best hook cogback of all time.
Seriously. And even then, you probably have to like force the BKB and then retreat and try and re-engage again.
Yeah, it's tough. There might even be buybacks on OG side. You don't really know these things, so it's again, near impossible contest for Nigma. You pretty much have to give it up. Finish the Scotty on LTW and hope that plus the Crimson is enough to weather the storm here in terms of high ground defense. But this swap is an amazing tool at just forcing the fight in terms of going high ground. The second you step up to try and poke or kill the wave, you're getting swapped in.
We almost spotted ILTW. That would have been a sick swap into the high ground of the triangle outside of the base, but not quite lucky enough.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
See how well Nigma holds up their positioning against this offensive swap that could come in at any time. As they try and hold a good high ground defense here against the Templar Assassin.
You can even do things like swap into the Ogre Stun or a Spear, which they're not the instant like Lion Hex, you know, but
yeah,
it's pretty fast, and it's unlikely that any of these heroes get much off. Maybe Medusa can get her Manta Stone Gaze, but you'd be surprised. You catch people off guard.
Oh, they see an opportunity. OG is very spread out around the map. I mean, granted, they're going to run into the Vengeful Spirit first,
which is
not ideal.
You want to go on, but don't have a choice.
Yeah, they really don't. They're going to try and poke down Yuragi on his first life, but here comes Amar. Blinks in, backline, looks to be able to catch somebody, doesn't. Okay, he's going to throw down the arena, but at the same time, Medusa is getting gone on here. Multicast, chain stuns, still has plenty of mana to work with, still ready to go with the Stone Gaze.
Heavy chain.
Thinking about a pop, and here comes the epicenter. Nice two-man burrow strike, a huge hit as Mind Control finds the opportunity. Yuragi actually buying back a third life for the Vengeful Spirit, but instantly gets Stone Gaze. Mind Control almost getting torn apart there, but still alive. Swap back, down, up into the high ground. Yuragi now a spear back, but ILTW doesn't actually latch into the trees. A fourth life now for Yuragi as he goes back in his spirit form. Will that be enough to be able to finish off ILTW? Goes for a TP out. One spark TP, but it wasn't good enough. Misha was there with the Fire Blast just in time. Yuragi, what a big buyback play. 4 Vengeful Spirits in that fight when you're 11,000 net worth down. How do you beat that, SVG?
It's like Ag's Wraith King earlier, then Ag's Wraith King comes online. I mean, he basically got team wiped for his team. He's like, don't worry, guys.
all the deaths.
All the deaths. So, I mean, I guess Nigma won that fight, technically.
Yeah, in a way. They definitely killed more heroes. But, sadly, for them anyway.
Not any that stayed dead, so.
Yeah. And sadly for us, because we don't get to see a game 3, it looks like, because OG, they're going to close this out with just an absolute ruthlessness.
Yeah, they look determined in this series. Like they had a message to send to somebody. I'll say that. Especially as game 2, like very coherent game plan, very clear idea of how their heroes combine, what they want to achieve with them, and what that timing window they want to hit is. That 25-minute second Aegis high ground, their lineup excels at that point. Super hard to deal with. Yeah, they got there on all cylinders and very well executed.
Oh, they get the hook shot, he'll fall off the spear, but at the same time he gets BKB'd and then swapped back out. Yuragi seeing his ally, ILTW, showing up here with the Scotty, so it's going to be a little bit hard for OG to extract themselves out. The Alacrity doing a good amount of work here, so you can see Misha, who tried to step up to the plate for a Fire Blast, gets blasted himself before he could do anything.
He unfortunately does not have a second life.
No. He's got a second hit, though.
I also like this Hurricane Pike Ench build. It's kind of the new meta in town, so to say. It's a bit more selfish, a bit more greedy. You just play for the Pike imp hits in the fight on some hero, and that guy is not happy. It's a lot of damage. You'd be surprised how much it adds up quickly. So it's interesting to see this kind of thing come back. And a second Hurricane Pike on Yuragi.
Jesus, this is not a Clockwork game.
Yeah, I mean,
they picked up this Clockwork 1-2 with the Invoker, and while Miracle Invoker was not good enough to carry game 1, it looks like nor game 2, the Clockwork especially looked pretty bad for, I don't know, these openings just feel kind of very well addressed by OG.
When you pick this clock that early, it can be difficult for him to have good interaction with the enemy cores because they have all their cores left to pick.
Yeah.
So they kind of know what they're picking into in terms of the play action coming out from Nigma. Because you're not going to end up picking some Clockwork Earth Spear, right? Like, you know you need some other damage support behind this clock, so you kind of know the type of support pair that's coming out. You're telegraphing a bit of your game plan, which isn't the worst if you can get this clock snowballing, like you have a mid you can gank for, which Invoker can do some of that. TA is just, it's hard, especially when there's an Ench roaming. And we saw all those early battles mid. I mean, it's basically 8 heroes mid.
Yeah.
I mean, those types of shenanigans could go either way. If they went Nigma's way, we might be looking at a different game, but this Ench is honestly the king of those types of fights because she's 2 heroes in 1.
Yeah.
You get the Enchantress with the heal that's super annoying, and you get her creep that's effective HP, probably the highest of any hero in the fight in the early game. We saw the Troll take the tower on its own.
Yeah, yeah. With all those skeletons,
yeah,
it was too much to handle.
Honestly, a lot of this game is Ench setting the plate for this lineup to come online. It's
yeah,
understated impact, but there's not a lot of supports who can do those early game things to that extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, what early game support is coming in and taking the mid tower while she's in the fight?
Yeah, yeah. It's
hero,
Enchantress,
Leshrac edicting from the tree line.
Yeah,
the memes of old.
37-27 as we cross over the 30-minute marker here. Not looking so good for Nigma Galaxy as they are looking at a 0-2 start to their second season here at the DPC. And a reminder that their first bit didn't go so well either. They ended up in a 4-way tiebreaker. They were the worst team in that tiebreaker, ended up getting 6th. They went to Gamers Galaxy, and they actually did look good there. I thought they were going to be in the grand finals, personally, but...
I mean, they're a momentum team. So
they're a momentum team.
As long as they build momentum over the season, might be all right. But this game is not over yet, Kat.
Yeah?
Let me point out.
Okay.
Miracle, full Shiva's Guard completed.
Oh.
And ILTW is still... He's still getting slain. They're still been able to farm their triangle for the last 5 minutes or so here.
I thought you were going to say, like,
a little bit cringe.
I was ready for, like, Divine Rapier. ILTW is on its way. You know?
I mean, if OG just jumps him, I think the fight's really hard. But if they can have this Medusa go ham up,
breaks Arena. Manages to catch Miracle, but misses all his spells. The swap back on ILTW, but he does manage to get off the Snowcase. The Epicenter coming in. Only really hitting the Ogre is not the greatest, but they double the deal with the first line up. Oh, nice spear back. Double Arena is too much to handle. The first one didn't do that much, but the second one was devastating from Amar, and will pretty much clean up as Nigma. They're going to have a second round to this fight, a second breath perhaps, as they all buy back. BZM slowed down by the Scotty. God, they need this kill. They need it so badly. It looks like Spear catching it. Oh no! Miracle gets blown up before BZM dies. Die he does, but he ends it on an ultra kill.
Maybe I'll have a nap.
Medusa's doing work in these fights as long as she can stay alive. It takes 2 lives there. Yeah. You're not going to have that next time. The double arena looked cool. I'm not sure it did a lot, but it did look cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Amar's all about. He's here to look cool.
Flashy style. You think he purposely just threw both, like Venn diagram style, just bam, bam? He threw the one, missed everybody, threw the other.
No, that was definitely the first one. He was like, oh god, that was a total whiff. He missed the rebuke. He missed the spear. He couldn't see Miracle, and so he was like, all right, I gotta fix this. I gotta make this second arena look good.
Though. That's why you get 2. I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with in these fights, though. He does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he does.
And that fight only is sustained through Nigma's buybacks. This Medusa gets swapped in. She just gets obliterated. It's really hard for Nigma to jump in with him past double arena, take the fight through all these BKBs. Nigma getting jumped again.
Yeah, they actually throw out the hook shot, so they're willingly jumping into this arena, but Amar, he still has his BKB. ILTW does show up, but the Scotty, it only does so much to be able to stop them. You can see Yuragi, he's going to kind of ignore the Medusa and go for the back line, but he's actually running out. Yeah, this Edge is chunking this poor Medusa and ILTW's out. So is Mind Control, and I believe so is Nigma Galaxy, as I'm not sure if they want to stick around much longer in this game.
That was without TA.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Nigma was also missing their Invoker, but TA's got a little bit more network than Invoker. That didn't even look close. And basically any fight Nigma gets jumped is almost a disaster. Which is basically going to be every fight, to be honest, because they have Venge who can just run in.
Sometimes lucky. Well, it looks like this time around, even though they did not manage to beat Enigma Galaxy at the Gamers Galaxy tournament, they actually got 2-0'd there by Enigma. Here, in the DPC, and arguably some of the matches that matter a little bit more, they seem to be feeling pretty lucky, pretty good about themselves, as this was a very, very clear demonstration by OG.
He's putting on the moves though.
Trying to anyway, but Yuragi's got some moves of his own. Pretty simple point and click, pulls GH back into the enemy, and there it is. Amar going for the fountain dives with the arena. Makes for a pretty good hero to do so. Triple kill for Amar to close things out. Any mantles, sir? Good job.
No
mantles around. All right, GG from Nigma.
He ended up in the fountain though.
He did.
To be a trademark.
Did. All I'm getting from this, Avery, is don't tip Amar.
Don't make him vibe.